I'm buying a kapchai, you know, for my worker. I nosedive into a completely different world.
It's actually more expensive than a used Iswara.
It's stupid, right? It's the stupidest
used
thing.
Iswara you can get for 1,500, 2,000. Kapchai new is 5,000.
A 10, 15-year-old kapchai is 1,500, 2,000 ringgit.
They always have a choice lah. I mean, you can buy a Citroen for 500 ringgit.
You can buy a Tiara for 250 ringgit. But the car was amazing, man. Have you driven a Tiara before? You can fly bump, I'm not kidding you. It has that French characteristic when it comes to the way it handles
run over the bump.
It runs run over the bump. You don't feel a damn thing, man. It's damn good, and it's so wow. When you turn right, the car is just Autophiles, man. We're in what the heck are we in?
C300.
C300.
Mercedes-Benz C300 facelift. First impressions.
We only drove the C250 coupe before.
Yes, 250 coupe.
We did not drive any of the sedans except for the
No,
C43.
we did. C43. No, we drove the C60.
63.
Oh yes, we drove the C63 and the C43.
43. Oh, we've driven quite a few C-Class actually. Oh, NSX black color. Wrong color, brother! Okay, anyway.
It's long.
We've driven a 250 in a coupe form. Wasn't impressive. Then we drove the 43, which is A-okay. Thumbs up. Then we drove the 63, which is absolutely mad.
Yeah.
You should not be buying a C63 because it's mad. It barks at a traffic light for no reason. We stop at the traffic light, goes BRAM! Today we're in a C300.
The facelift version now has AMG body kit, but it's very mild. I don't really notice it.
I think the first thing I noticed is the brakes. The brakes are genuinely large, isn't it? It's it's a AMG spec brakes. The wheels are huge as well. But other than that, it doesn't look that aggressive.
I kind of like that over the 43 because the 43 still has a bit of aggressive-ness to it. You know, red color safety belts.
Oh yeah. Then the 63 has stickers.
Yeah, stickers. So this one still looks like a proper C-Class, gentlemanly.
A little bit subdued. Huh?
But I think the performance is actually not bad.
Yeah.
Actually, anything more than this.
We can't be all praising the car, so I have to be the bad guy today, isn't it? The first thing I got in here is like, oh man, I'm wearing a wrong size pants. Oh yo, I tell you, it's like wearing one size smaller. You bought a very expensive pants, and then it does not fit. That's my first impression. I got in here, and the giant center console was it's giving me claustrophobia.
I don't know why we didn't feel this in the 43 and the 63.
No, because we're just raring to go. Maybe because we treated it as a sports car, and sports car are even more claustrophobic. That's why we're fine with it. But when I got into this car, the first thing I felt was claustrophobia. That's what I felt. It was so small. It's actual. It's not perceived because it's this thing. It's perpetually on your feet, isn't it? It's on your legs, isn't it? Yeah, you feel it, right?
It is.
Yeah.
But I'm a bit smaller, so I can forgive the.
I suppose but
cramped size.
To be honest, it feels genuinely very small. And it's not just this. It's also comparing to A4 and the 3 Series. Even the F30 3 Series is significantly larger than this. The A4 is class leading currently. But that aside, I think in terms of perceived quality, I think Mercedes-Benz does it the best. It feels the most dramatic inside here. Everything feels expensive. It's not just is expensive, it feels expensive.
I can only compare it to the C43. The exhaust note is nicer than the C43. It's a bit rougher.
Oh.
It's a bit...
That is what... I think we'll get to the exhaust note after, because we spent a good half an hour talking about the exhaust.
It's not a real sound, huh?
Yeah. It doesn't sound real to me. How do you make Inline 4 sound like this? Especially when, you know, previous Mercedes-Benz has a tendency to sound like a cow. Moo. Moo. Moo.
It's the right size for me lah. It's a good daily for my height lah.
I think the center console design is just too large. Too large.
All things considered, even though this is a facelift, right now in Malaysia, if you're shopping in this category, A4, C-Class and 3 Series, I think honestly this is
the only choice.
This is the best. This is now the best choice.
Because Audi died.
Because Audi died, definitely.
Okay.
When I look at this, right, it really does feel like an expensive product.
Yeah, like perceived quality, I think Mercedes does it better.
Yeah. Should we talk about the engine now?
Yeah.
This is a new engine in the C300. It's a 2-litre turbocharged direct injection, 258 horsepower.
Okay, healthy stuff. The torque is 3 plus.
370 Newton meters.
Whoa, that's a lot, yo.
9G-tronic.
Yes, the new gearbox.
If you go into eco mode and you're on the highway, you're not accelerating, it'll go into neutral to save save petrol lah, basically. And it's got airmatic suspension.
Oh yeah. I personally think the performance is more than enough. I love it. The power delivery is quite good. It still drags on its power a little bit in terms of when you let go of it. It's not as responsive, but other than that, to be honest, it's really strong. It's really fast. It's torquey, and it grips really well. Intelligent enough. I was driving quite recklessly just now in the rain. Not for once it slipped up. So I think performance-wise, there's no complaints at all. The sound is particularly good, which I suspect is piped in.
Okay.
But it sounds proper boisterous. Sounds ready to go, wheeling,
Yeah.
big-hearted. Yeah. The airmatic is good. In the city, it's still slightly clunky. I think less clunky than the non-airmatic model. The airmatic really comes alive on the highway when you're cruising. On the way here, when there's no jam just now, we're cruising at what, 80 to 100. Beautiful. The only thing nagging is still the size, but other than that, beautiful characteristics when cruising.
I think I was in eco or comfort mode. It was a bit slow to respond. I thought it was a turbo lag, but then I went into sport. It was very
fast,
responsive.
yeah. It
So
was
I
fast.
think it's the tuning
Yeah.
for different modes. With this kind of power, as a daily driver, you're not lacking anything at all.
Yeah.
You can have fun. Somebody chases you, you can just break away like fast.
I actually think they integrated it really well. In the past 7G throttling, I think, with the older engine, I didn't like
The delivery, yeah.
the delivery. It felt very disconnected.
Yeah.
Here, actually,
Not bad, huh?
very engaging in comfort and anything above comfort, right? It feels less Mercedes and
More Audi.
more Audi.
Yeah, more Audi.
And then using the manual mode, the gear shifts are so unnoticeable. You don't even know it changes until you look at the screen.
But one thing I have to complain about, the in-city comfort. This car is genuinely a bit too stiff.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it's the tires that are too thin, maybe it's the seats that are too thin, because I genuinely feel that the seats are not comfortable in front or in the back. And plus with the ergonomics being like this, it's like I really feel awkward.
It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's a very uncomfortable car at slow speed in city. It is already an improvement over the non-airmatic suspension models, and yet it is still not significantly better.
When you look at it, right, would I rather be seen in a Harrier, in a Camry? Maybe not. I would not want to be seen in those cars, but I would be happier in those cars.
It's more comfortable. It perceived value, I mean, they make you feel like you're in something really expensive.
That one I think is more towards design, but performance-wise,
Yeah.
how does it perform? I think engine-wise, I'm very happy. I think
Yeah.
it's actually genuinely one of the best premium sedans. It's not an AMG car, but it drives really well. It's rewarding to drive.
What do you guys think the suspension compared to the C43?
The C43 at the back was
Unsittable.
it was torture, man.
It cannot sit. Yeah, it's horrible, man.
Here, the C300, my ass is not being destroyed. But I don't know why, my neck feels very uncomfortable. I can't
It's
rest
too
it.
short for you, I think. The seat is too
I'm
short.
trying to pull this up, so it's not working.
Your neck
Yeah.
is resting on top of the headrest.
And if I'm lying back on it, I feel like I'm straining my neck.
Mercedes-Benz ought to be more comfortable than this, and I really do expect a little bit better. It's less E-Class, more A-Class. This is what I always say, small Mercedes-Benz has never been really good, and this is what I meant. It does not carry the Mercedes-Benz badge well. Because it is fundamentally conflicting with the brand value. I would give it a 3.5 out of 5.
I want to give it a 3 actually.
Who are you?
No.
You're more critical than me now. I give it a 3.5 because it's a great improvement, from existing product, and the delivery has improved so much. It's almost un-Mercedes-like.
If it's a daily driver, 3.8.
Whoa!
If it's daily driver, lah.
Yeah. If it's
But
a
I
weekend.
Weekend. I mean, do you want to be in a sedan for a weekend? So design.
Same look.
Actually, slightly different.
Lights and
Bumpers are
bumper.
different, rims are different.
Lights are different.
Lights are different. I think the lights actually on the C200 look really nice. The C300 looks a bit too busy.
They try to put too many things into it. It's the same thing now.
It's elegant. It blends in very well with the traffic. It tells you that this is a luxury car, but it is a typical luxury car.
Maybe the glitters is gone now.
Maybe. Yeah.
So many years already.
It still looks like an expensive car. I see
But-
all the older people looking at me on Kapchais and they're like, you last stupid kid.
It's okay. He's driving a Kapchai for a reason. I learned that.
You learned that.
I learned that.
Great when it was new. Now it's faded away.
Yeah, age lah.
But they did do some things which I think really modernize the cabin.
The larger screen.
Yeah, that screen now is what, 10.2 inches or something like that. And the instrument cluster before this was analog. When we were driving the C43,
It's still analog. This is digital.
It's a 12-inch digital screen.
Yeah.
Actually, the only two things I want to comment is the steering wheel and the instrument graphics. I think the graphics was a good step forward. Before this,
Laggy.
yeah, a bit laggy, not so sharp, you know.
Yeah.
And even the instrument cluster on the E-Class, the graphics then don't look as good as this.
Yeah.
This one, the speedometer and all that actually looks quite nice. And if you change it to sport mode, the speedometer, not here but in the actual.
Oh, as in a sport
Yeah, with the
display.
stock. Yeah, you know, it's
it's
not
very
just
Indian colour.
It's like future but retro.
It's very Indian.
Really?
It looks like the temple colour, you know.
Yeah.
It looks like the temple colour, and then you take orange and then you take red together. What do you get? You get Indian wedding. And then you know that trailing that looks like a sari, the folds in a sari.
I think that's why I like it.
Subconsciously, the Indians.
But going to the steering wheel, you're going to talk about the steering wheel.
Yeah, the steering wheel, you know, flat bottom. But the real difference here is the controls, metal plate over them. And you have the BlackBerry, but the capacitive buttons.
Yes.
You can slide the menus with your thumbs.
Using the BlackBerry button. Mercedes-Benz finally caught up with BlackBerry. Value. Let's play guess the price. Okay.
Oh, you already know the price.
I saw the price.
205 at you.
305. I'll hold my money and wait for the G20.
The C200 feels like a slightly better value option.
Which is a problem until you realize you're paying 260,000 for a 1.5 Vios. I cannot justify the C200. I would say hold your money for the G20. See whether the G20 makes sense. I genuinely cannot recommend 300,000. Careful, squirrel. Oh, look at the way he jumped over it. That was about a second and a half of airtime.
Gymnastic rat.
I guess 320 to be honest. So it's cheaper than I expected. But then again, I cannot genuinely recommend this product.
One reason to get into this car
is because you have to trade up a Mercedes-Benz and you have to find one. I think it's okay. I mean, 300,000 is actually good value. It's just that for Mercedes-Benz, it's not expensive. It's just so many products out there. A great car, can't recommend. That's the only thing I can say.
If you're shopping brand new right now, F30 is way too old to recommend. A4 is too dead to recommend. C300 did a good job despite the competition not being up to par. It has maybe enough spark to push Mercedes to fight the G20 for 1 month, and then after that,
and then the whole market was washed over to G20.
Once the new 3 Series comes out, this car is going to have a lot of problems.
Comes back one full circle. We can't recommend this car, not because it's not good, not because there's poor value. It's just that there's just so much better cars out there to choose from.
And there's a threat looming on the horizon.
Alright, Autophiles, signing out. Every Mercedes I've driven had steering angle sensor problem. Sure, kantoi one.
And how much is each?
2,000 plus.
Wow.
It happened in the C class, it happened in the CLK class, it happened in an E class, it happened in the CLS class. Every 7G Tronic I have had a valve body broken. That's a expensive fix. So 9G Tronic, I'll give you 4 years.
Very smooth in the gearbox.
I know, for now. One day it doesn't change and you have to stop at the side, switch off the car and then switch on again. Then you stop at the side, let the gearbox cool down, then somebody come with a parang, break the side of your window and then put the parang to your neck and demanded money. I did not make this up. This happened to me.